Hello, people. Once again, it's me, Danny Graham, working some show Comic Chats. Today, I got two guys on here that got a lot of knowledge about Rise of Skywalker. We're going to discuss that a little bit today. First, I got Sean Stackhouse. Go ahead and introduce yourself and tell the people where they can find you.
What's up, everyone? I am Sean Stackhouse. I am at Sean Stackhouse Reacts on YouTube and at Sean Stackhouse on Twitter. Unless YouTube is punking me, I've just hit 1,590 subs as of today. So,
Good job.
trying to get up to 1,600 by January 1st. So, and then after that, I'm going for the full 2,000.
Sounds great, man. I'm trying to get my first 1,000. My next guest is Chris Knight. I think he got a series going on this week called The Gospel According to Chris, if I'm saying that correctly.
Yes.
Go ahead and introduce yourself, sir, and tell people where they can find you at.
Well, I am Chris Knight, one half of the Real Review 3000. The other half is, this right there. This guy up here. There. I pointed to him. That guy.
Finn?
And no, not Finn. You. And he didn't tell you where he's really at. He is in a locked closet in my basement. I keep him there for safekeeping. Yeah, you can find me on youtube.com / The Real Review 3000 or at Chris Knight 5150 on Twitter. We're doing the Gospel According to Chris this week, basically live streams all week. And so, yeah, check that out. It's at 7:30 Central Standard Time tonight. So check that out. And we'll be talking to Mandalorian tonight. So more Star Wars.
Good deal.
Nice.
I caught your show last night, the iconic cars. That was very interesting. I'm a big fan of Knight Rider.
Oh, yeah.
Starsky and Hutch, Dukes of Hazzard, General Lee.
Yep.
So I could definitely relate to that. I'm just going to jump right in it. What are y'all expecting? What are y'all wanting to see? Without going into any kind of spoilers or plot leaks. One thing I saw, and it wasn't a plot leak or a spoiler, John Campia did a little, maybe 25-second his thoughts as soon as he walked out of the movie theater, and basically he said was that J.J. Abrams made a lot of bold moves, and that a lot of fans are going to like it. Some may not, but he did not like the movie overall.
John Campia didn't like something?
No, that's what I was saying is it's funny because Campia over the past year or so has kind of been going against Disney on a lot of stuff. He kind of changed his stance and waffled a little bit on what he said about the Rise of Skywalker, because I don't know who it was. I think it was Germany maybe did a video where he showed after the Rise of Skywalker what Campia said, and then a few months ago what Campia said about it. And it was two completely different things. And I'm finding this out. I mean, I personally don't think that it's an issue with J.J. Abrams and making something that's visually pleasing. That's his go-to, is visual. The problem is that he has little to no substance, and there's where your first problem is going to be. So, I mean, I don't know. I think Sean agrees with me though on that.
Yeah. Also back on John Campia, I used to be a big fan of John Campia's, but I'm pretty sure that he's bought and paid for, by multiple people. I know, and he has all the stuff in the world. So my opinion is not going to matter to him, but I've never, until Chris said, until recently, I've never heard him say anything bad about anything that was Disney.
He didn't say bad. He didn't say he didn't really care for it.
Yeah, but I mean, when he came out of The Last Jedi, I mean, he was like putting on this whole show. I mean, he was if he could have mustered up tears, fake tears, those commercials, with the dogs shaking in the cages and stuff, he'd be thinking of one of those commercials and the tears would be flowing, and now it's anything Disney, he's like, nah.
Well, I didn't start following him probably the last 6 months. I didn't know his stance 2 years ago, but I definitely respect Robert Burnett's opinions.
Oh, sure.
I'm curious to see what he's going to say.
He is a very good counterpoint for John Campea in a lot of
Yes.
ways.
Yeah, it's good to have two differing sides of things. I mean, but Campia coming out of it and saying that it just really wasn't his cup of tea is kind of like Sean said, that is a really crazy thing. You just, for him to even do that is amazing. I mean,
Because Campea actually defended Disney and Ryan Johnson and everyone at Lucasfilm for when they were going after the fans. He was basically he aligned himself with the corporate entity over his fellow fans. So I mean, I don't know. That just tells me something's not right. And then the course change over maybe the past year or so. It's just weird. I'm not saying that he is a Disney shill or was a Disney shill. I just have my suspicions. That's all.
I have my suspicions on how this movie is going to turn out. I think Sean and I have gone over and over about this. I could rewrite this whole trilogy and actually make it work to where people would go back and go like, okay, that I'm okay with the first two movies probably by rewriting it as 7 and 8 were Force visions of Luke. And all he was doing is trying to look to the future and what might happen. And when he
like a Doctor Strange thing, you see all the different possibilities.
Yes, and so and then you basically spend the first 15 minutes after The Last Jedi, and you have Kylo getting into his ship and chasing down the Millennium Falcon and blowing it up in the first 15 minutes. And you think, what the hell is this? And then do a snapback and then come out of like Luke's eyes and, big wide eyes going like, and then he realizes what he's seen is what could happen with Kylo. But instead of going and killing or trying to kill Kylo, he now knows about Rey. He goes and he finds Rey, brings Rey back to his temple, his Jedi training temple. And that's what actually drives Kylo away.
You know what you just described, right? You just described a cinematic choose your own adventure book.
I don't care. Rewrite the whole
It sounds like you took a page out of Twilight.
I don't care. I don't care where it comes from. You're right. It is that vision that
sparkles in the sunlight.
I do not sparkle. I hate Twilight. You know what? The best thing that happened, the best thing about Twilight, it's over. The second best thing.
Story.
You know what? The second best thing, it pisses SJWs off because they wasted trees.
But now he's our Batman.
Yeah, God.
But we're not here to talk about that.
No,
we're here to talk about Star Wars.
But I mean, I could see a way you could fix this. And I think a lot of people, as long as they went and snapped it back and actually gave you the Luke you wanted and did all that, they could have done that. They could have just done a complete fan service in this. And you know what? They should have. Now, I don't know what we're going to get.
No, I think JJ being JJ, I think JJ had, when he did The Force Awakens, I think he had a template laid out for the entire trilogy. I think he had like a rough sketch of what he wanted to do. And then when schedules conflicted and stuff and he couldn't do The Last Jedi, Ryan Johnson just came in, wadded it up, and just threw it over his shoulder like Luke threw his lightsaber over his shoulder. And so I think JJ is probably going to do the best type of course correction that he possibly can without just saying The Last Jedi doesn't count. Like all the Terminators, leading up to Dark Fate don't count. One of those things.
Which
Go
ahead, Danny.
I got a theory, and it's based on something that Chris said a couple nights ago. I can't remember which show he was hosting. But what if George Lucas set this whole thing up? What if he's mad because the people gave him such a beating on the prequels? So he said, "Okay, Disney want my company. I'm gonna throw out a crazy number, like $2 or $3 billion. They pay him. Him and Kathleen Kennedy gets together. and say, "Look, Kathleen, this is exactly what we're going to do. We're going to make this thing so crappy that they're going to. I'm going to have to sacrifice you, but I'm going to take care of you in the back end. We're going to make this so crappy that the fans are going to want me to come back. I'm going to come back and be the savior after Disney flops on its face."
That's an interesting theory, but the thing is, Danny,
Because right now everybody is calling for George Lucas to come back and be the savior.
they are, but the thing is, they're because of the Last Jedi specifically, and the all-out assault that Lucasfilm had on the fans. There is such a huge fracture in the Star Wars fan base right now. I don't even know if George Lucas came back tomorrow and said, "You know what? I'm doing an entire new trilogy. I'm writing it." And even who was the guy who did Kasdan? Who did was it Empire? Was
yeah.
So yeah, even if he said, "I'm bringing back people like Kasdan to direct the new trilogy," I think the fan base is so fractured and it's so infested with social agenda.
I agree with some of that, but he been sitting on his hands all these years.
Yeah,
he's been doing some kind of writing or something. Saying staying in that museum he built, I think in California.
Yeah, he's building a museum, living history in LA.
Yeah,
that's his baby now. That's what he wants to do.
Well, I hope with all the downtime he's had, he's been writing a sequel to Howard the Duck. I mean, for God's sake.
God. How about just rewriting Howard the Duck, period, and giving us a real good Howard the Duck?
Yeah.
Now, to your point, Danny, I do believe he was getting tired. He was tired of the people who were talking bad about the prequels, and he started doing this to wrap up his grand opus, his grand story.
Well, he said something to the extent like, I think at the time when he sold it, he's like, I'm looking at 70, or he already was in his 70s.
Well, he has a daughter that's like 7, 8, 9, somewhere.
Yeah, and so he said, to do a trilogy, the way that he releases the trilogy, it's going to take him the better part of a decade, and he would rather spend his time, otherwise engaged.
We all can agree that he's highly intelligent, correct?
Yeah, absolutely.
So why in the hell would he pick someone that seems to be in and out, unless it's some kind of plan or something?
I don't think that he planned for Kathleen to have her hands on it as much as she ended up. He may have thought that, but here's the thing. I'm going to show you something here in just a second.
He actually handed her the keys in the interview.
Yeah, but here's the thing.
Kathleen had been working with him for years.
Yeah, so he probably thought, okay,
he probably trusted her.
The thing is, I think what she did is she got too handsy with it.
Yeah,
because
she knew nothing about
it. That he doesn't need to be handsy. She just needs to oversee it. Okay, that's good. Well, I don't know about this. Let's talk to the people who know about this. That's the thing. She just got too handsy and thought, "Ooh, Force is female," blah 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 blah, and she started spouting out her mouth and got stupid about it. Now. I think that he started getting ready to shoot 7. And what happened was he's like, I like, he may have said, I like what they're doing with Marvel, and Disney's been doing some money with them, playing around with maybe helping them out. And maybe he thought, I wonder what I could do and how much it would help me if I got Disney on board to help me make this movie. And they get some of the money, whatever, to kind of release him from all the responsibility and all the stress it was going to cause him. And somewhere in that, him and Iger maybe, or him and somebody in Disney was talking one day, let's say at lunch. And he may have just said, I truthfully, I just want to get this over with. I feel like I had to finish this because I started it, but I'm really just over Star Wars because look at me, I'm 70. I have a daughter who's 6 or whatever she was when this was first talked about. And then he kind of said, I just want to be done with it. And they heard that and they're like, ooh, wait a minute, opportunity. So Iger gets a hold of the idea, maybe I can buy this from him. And he comes with an ungodly number. Or he goes to Lucas and says, what's your price? And Lucas is like, okay, whatever, $4 billion. And they're like, sold. And he's like, okay, why not? Who wouldn't walk away? He's not responsible now. He doesn't have to hear about Star Wars anymore. He can walk away from it. Now, yeah, after the fact, yeah, there's some remorse in this. But I want to show you something. Go ahead, and I've got my screen shared down below. I want to show you this. George Lucas, Episode 7. This is one of the storyboards. I show this. There's some others out there if you look it up. This is a female character.
Is that underwater?
Yes, this is a female character. Notice it's not the robes, but it's still that tan look. And there's a lightsaber kind of, or a blast or something right there. But this is very reminiscent of Rey. And this is very reminiscent of what? What does this all look like underwater?
Looks like
the Death Star.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They finally said, oh shit, we're out of, and I'm sorry, I shouldn't have said that. They were like, oh crap, we don't have a way of wrapping this up. And they started picking through his stuff that he gave them from the get-go. So they're finally looking at his treatment. So when we heard rumors that that he was helping, I think more to the point is they're picking through what he gave them finally.
Yeah.
And trying to find a way out of this hole that Johnson put him in. But the problem is people want to blame that on Rian Johnson. You can blame Rian Johnson all you want. J.J. Abrams, I can't remember. I'd have to go back and find it. It's, but this, we're talking before the Last Jedi came out. J.J. told Rian Johnson, make it your own movie.
Yeah, he did. I don't think that he meant.
It doesn't matter. You have to blame JJ for it.
Disregard everything that I set up.
You have to blame JJ for it. You have to blame JJ when it comes to not following George Lucas's treatments, because he's the one that kicked George Lucas out of the talks. When George Lucas, when this first started, they had George Lucas at the table during storyboarding and during script writing and all of this stuff. And I'm guaranteeing you, he probably said, no, that's not how this works. That's not how the Force works. That's not how
I'm sure he did. I'm sure they kicked him out.
JJ probably said, listen, you're old, you're outdated, and you don't know what you're doing anymore. Get out.
I guarantee you, in the talks when they were storyboarding The Force Awakens, George was like, no, this is too much like A New Hope. That's too much like A New Hope. That's not how the Force works.
Whatever he did, it pissed JJ off. JJ kicked him out.
Yeah.
And that's when George said, you want to do it your own way? Do it your own way.
They brought him back on multiple occasions
to tried
with scripts because they write themselves into a corner. Mm-hmm. And, I just read today that they didn't even invite him to the premiere.
No.
So
I don't know if he would go.
I don't know. I mean, if the
but I've heard that he's been on the set of The Mandalorian, though.
Oh yeah, no,
yeah. But if the rumors are true, that he did consult on the script for The Rise of Skywalker, he if it is a train wreck, he knows how big of a train wreck it is,
mm-hmm.
and probably doesn't want to be there to see it happen. And then have to take a bow, and pose for photos. Oh, look, it's George Lucas, the creator of this magnificent, franchise. And all the while he's thinking, oh, this was horrible.
Yeah. Well, you know why he's been on the set of The Mandalorian, right?
I don't.
I think he's grooming Jon Favreau to take that job.
Fs, that's why he's there, because he's worked with Filoni and Favreau. And
that's a great idea.
And they are
on the same page.
But here's the thing. I'm going to tell you right now, and this is what I thought is going to happen. Now, I've talked about this on the Mandalorian Roundtable and some other things we've done. But a lot of people are talking Feige's getting his own trilogy, possibly. I don't think so. I think Feige, the whole hearing that he's backing away from Marvel and stuff, what that really is I think Iger knows what's going on here. And I think this is Kathleen Kennedy's last gasp as being in charge of Lucasfilm. If this flops, she's done, because she has tied her own weight to it.
Oh, absolutely.
Yep. And if it flops, they're going to say, listen, we hear rumblings that people don't like this or that about The Mandalorian, but overall, we're getting good. We're getting good vibe.
Even though, thing about the Mandalorian is, we're all old school Star Wars fans. We've been there since the very beginning. Like I was born in '77. I've
been there, but I'm gonna say something that's gonna piss you both off probably.
Okay, go ahead.
I like the prequels better than I like the originals.
That's cool. That's fine. I mean, I love the prequels too.
Danny, how old are you?
I'll be 50 next year.
Okay.
Yeah, so I mean, we're all like within.
Yeah,
we're all Gen X.
I think the first one came out in 77, correct?
Yeah,
77. I was 7 years old.
I watched that when I was 2 months old.
It does.
Yeah, it actually does. I've seen every one of them in the theaters.
All right. But the thing is, I mean, we are the generation that grew up with Star Wars from being kids. We had the original toys, and so we're used to the 40 years we're used to Star Wars being a saga. Everything connects and everything goes into another. And so the thing about the Mandalorian, I think that many of us are having a problem with, and Chris, you and I talked about this, is that it's serialized and it's not all connected. We're used to, like, if every episode would lead into the next episode, and things you would have callbacks to, say, episode 2 when you're on episode 7, you're like, oh, that's what that was for. We might be having a different conversation, but so I think we just have to put ourselves in a different mindset, and I think we'll be fine.
This is
I agree with you.
Go ahead.
No. I agree with some of what you're saying, Sean, but in Jon Favreau's defense, he just came off of Endgame.
Yeah.
I don't know if he had enough time to do it correctly, but now they're shooting season 2, and he's a showrunner. I guarantee you season 2 is going to be better than this season.
Absolutely. I think they had a very short window of time to do the Mandalorian, and I think Filoni and Favreau were just spitballing ideas and throwing things up against the wall and seeing what stuck, and they ran with it and they tried to make it as cohesive as possible.
Okay, so let me go over what I think they're doing right now. I think they're going out there trying to see what characters people like, what characters people don't like, get some feedback. That way they know who should be in it more next time.
Yeah.
I think the next season, I really hope that they really move forward with whatever the point of this is, because we don't really know what the point of it is yet.
They have to have, moving forward, if there's one thing they learned from the first season of The Mandalorian is pacing of plot development.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
that's it. If they can correct that, then season 2 is just going to be completely lit.
Yeah, I mean, if I'm kind of worried because this is going to be the 7th episode coming up tomorrow, right?
Yeah, tomorrow, and then Sunday's
tomorrow.
Yeah, and then Sunday they're coming out with the last one.
Yeah.
Oh, gee.
That was next Friday.
No, I think it's on Sunday. I could be wrong.
Check it out. But so here's the thing: if they don't get somewhere with the plot this next episode, then they're going to be shoving it into a 40-minute segment. Yeah. Now, what I was going to say originally was, here's the thing. With Feige and all of this talk about he's going to get a trilogy or he's going to get a Star Wars movie, he wants to do Star Wars. I actually think where that comes from, the rumblings come from, is I think Iger's talked to him, said, listen, we're going to see what happens with Rise of Skywalker, but what I'm really wanting you to do, because I'll explain this all here. I think they're going to put Feige in charge of Lucasfilm, Marvel, and Pixar. Because right now Pixar doesn't really have a head. What's his name? I can't remember the guy that was there. No. Wait, listen to me. No, they're not going to spread him too thin. You're going to make him oversee projects, and that's it. You're going to have, but he's going to have somebody then who is in charge of each one of those divisions.
So he's
Favreau is going to be in charge of Lucasfilm, and Filoni will be the next person underneath him. He can grab it with his own hands and make it if he wants to. But if he wants to be more of a showrunner, Filoni can go to that. It's kind of going to be a tag team thing with the two of them. Favreau can be more of the showrunner for more things, but he can be hands-on because he understands it. And while he may make mistakes, he can understand it. Now, what would happen is Feige will look over this stuff, but he will still be essentially more in charge of Marvel. He might have somebody underneath him in Marvel that has more to do with the day-to-day. But his job, because he has shown a proven track record, and again, you may not like Marvel movies. Some people don't. I know Sean is the quintessential. They're popcorn movies. There's no substance really in them, and I agree that there's.
No, I mean I've enjoyed Marvel. Up until
the no
up until to what
Endgame.
No. The last Spider-Man movie I really enjoyed too.
Too.
You didn't like it? You didn't like Endgame, Sean?
Oh no, I did. I think Endgame was the best way. Endgame to me, like, because when Chris and I went to go see Endgame, I was under the impression that, and it still might be this way, but I thought they were going full force with the social politic pandering of Brie Larson, but I think they're trying to back away from her now. And so Endgame actually served, if that was going to be the last time you see a Marvel movie, it wrapped up the saga like very, very well. If that was going to be the last movie you ever saw. But I'm not writing Marvel off. I'm very curious to see what they're going to do. They don't have a whole lot on their slate right now. I think DC could come in the next couple of years and really, sock it to them
if they get their crap together.
I hope they do. But yeah, I'm not anti Marvel or the MCU at all.
I don't mean that. I just think you mean. And maybe you haven't said it as much as others, but there's a lot of people out there that say that there's a lot of fluff there.
There is a lot of filler. I mean, not everything, but when you have like this huge body of work over 10 years, like 20 some odd films in 10 years, not every film's going to be a winner.
I think
the actual movies may have been filler, but what always ties them together is that end scene credits. Whoever thought of that was a genius.
Well,
which means that you need every single movie, except for Captain Marvel, because really she didn't connect in her movie at all.
I said that's kind of what the Mandalorian should have been doing this whole time. Is instead of the beginning of the episode being the beginning of the episode, that should be happening at the end of the episode. Or like when he's going to the station that he was at in episode 6, he should have called or done something in the episode 5 to show that that's where he was going. So we're not going like, well, he's just jumping. Why are we jumping? We don't know why he's there. But I think I think Feige has been told by Iger, listen, I was impressed with what you did with these Marvel movies. And that you've neatly wrapped it up in a bow to a point where if what we do now isn't what people want, at least we have that. We ended it fairly well. And if the rest of this ties in, great. If it doesn't, whatever. We'll see where it goes. But he showed that if he's given the time, he can make a product that is cohesive together.
Mm-hmm.
There are.
That's why Feige needs to go over to DC.
Well, I wouldn't be against that either, but I think he's going to be in charge of the 3 big ones that Disney has.
You think he auditioned in those different directors, because it's been like 4 or 5 different directors on The Mandalorian.
I'm thinking. I think
Favreau. Are you talking Favreau, Danny?
Or
Favreau or whoever's going to be in charge of it.
I think Favreau. I think Favreau is definitely looking in. Oh shoot, what's her name? That's done 2 or 3 episodes already.
I know Bryce.
Bryce Dallas Howard, and then
Howard. She did one.
Mm-hmm.
And then the one that's got it. Oh, gee.
The guy that did Thor is going to do the last one. I saw that last night.
Taika Waititi.
Yep, he's doing episode 8.
Interesting.
And I think I can't think of the lady's name. Is it Chow or Cho or something like that?
Ever Chow.
She did one of the other episodes.
She's done 2.
She's doing this upcoming on Wednesday. Tomorrow.
And I think
she's going to be like the writer of Kenobi, right?
Well, she's gonna
That's
have
what I
her
heard.
hands in. I think she's the kind of the person in charge of Kenobi.
Yeah, and I
I'm
like what
interested
he's
to
done
see
so
what
far.
Taika Waititi's gonna do
Taika
because he got
Waititi, yeah, I mean he's good. So
It'd be interesting.
if any, I think it's actually smart to give the final episode of the season to Taika Waititi, because even if the script is lacking, like Thor Ragnarok, I mean, it was fun, but that's when Marvel started to go a little too goofy. Taika Waititi still managed to make it visually stimulating.
Mm-hmm.
the one negative thing I can say about Endgame and Marvel. I'm gonna get off this is I did not like the Fat Thor. I thought that
No,
was bad.
Oh, there was
It-
definitely moments of that SJW stuff in there, and that was a direct way of taking a god,
yeah,
taking a god, and
a man god.
a man god, and bringing him down to earth.
And then he gave the kingdom over to Valkyrie. I mean,
Yeah,
they could have gone with that gimmick, for maybe like 30 minutes, 45 minutes, and then have time pass and have him be back to his normal self.
Yeah, they didn't do
Yep.
it, though. And that was a bad.
I think that would have been way more impactful because you would have actually seen for maybe 45 minutes, how Thanos affected Thor and how he let himself go.
Mhm.
And then he got himself back into shape and he was ready to go, kick some Thanos butt.
Yeah, because Disney used to do stuff like that. They used to say, "Listen, you may get knocked down, but you should always fight through it and bring yourself back up." Why not do that with that character? Why? Because he was a guy. End of story. It didn't serve a purpose, and that's why Sean and I did see stuff in it that was the politics and stuff, but not nearly as much as both of us thought. In fact, the short amount of time that Captain Marvel was in it was amazing to me.
Mm-hmm.
There's very little screen
time.
time.
What's funny is they shot her scene for Endgame before they even shot Captain Marvel. So
yeah, and they, I mean, I think we all kind of figured it ended the way it did. I'm glad it ended that way. And then I think, again, I said this when it first came out, it was a present to the fans who have been there for the 10 years or more.
Absolutely.
As saying, thank you for being a part of this franchise. Whatever happens from here on out may be different, but this is your ending. This is for you. They wrapped everything up. You no longer had Captain America. We'll see what happens with this Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Yeah.
I'm thinking that there's going to be something in Black Widow that's going to change some of the events in Endgame. If I'm not mistaken, Kevin Feige or one of those bigwigs in Marvel made that comment in a recent interview.
It might. Who knows? Well, I mean, I think a lot of the things was where was it that her and
Bruce?
No,
her sister.
No. Black Widow and Hawkeye. Where was it that they went? That they mentioned
Solonier or whatever.
Yeah, I know that's what I've heard. Is that is going to be explained. Now, granted, take that with a grain of salt because we're always told in the Star Wars stuff that we're going to get all the explanation we want, and we're sitting here third movie. We don't.
I don't see how they're going to really explain it, considering this movie is going to it's supposed to take place between Winter Soldier and Infinity War,
and that's supposedly when that all happened. And
no. They were talking about that mission back in the first.
But the thing is that I think that they're going to do a flashback to it because this isn't just.
Oh, I think they are. Yeah,
there are flashbacks in it, so I think we're going to see that.
I've heard a theory that Natasha and her sister did the face-off thing like John Travolta and Nicolas Cage. It's kind of far-fetched, and one of the real holes in that is that when she went to Volmir, whatever the name of that planet was, the Red Skulls,
that
should have been able to see through that.
Yeah.
But that's what's being kicked around.
Well, if they want her character back, I guess that's how you do it. But then again, that goes back to the thought that Sean and a lot of other people have said, and I agree with. Then where are the stakes?
Yeah, I mean, there have really been no even before they introduced time travel in the MCU, there were really no stakes. No one of substance has ever really died.
No.
And now, since there's time travel, you can bring anybody you want as soon, whenever they want.
Well, not just that, but I think, like I've said, that I even believe that Tony Stark is going to be back in some of these movies.
Yeah, he's definitely going to be
Iron
the
Man.
artificial intelligence for his daughter's armor.
Well,
Yeah.
that's what I'm saying, and then that's what I'm saying, and people are like, "Well, listen,
I don't have a problem with that.
no,
I don't
I think you're actually gonna see more than that. I really believe you're.
I think in the comic books, I think his AI actually becomes like a humanoid.
He's already made
Like the Vision or something.
Yeah.
He's already made Vision. Vision happened.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of what I've heard. Is that somewhere, somebody, maybe his daughter, if they make her the next Iron Person or
He
whatever.
didn't make Vision. Ultron made Vision. He didn't download Jarvis's programming.
But there is something.
True.
Remember, they had a blue.
They were working on it before.
They had a blueprint for Vision that they used in Wakanda to try to take the stone out. Remember, they were looking at his a plan of him and his makeup. There is rumors I've heard that people believe that by doing that, it's been loaded up into his computer, and this is a bunch of stuff that he has that he never let people know he was working on. Will end up.
That won't make sense because him and Shuri never met.
What?
Shuri, the Black Panther sister.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't matter.
They were smart.
They were using his systems and stuff. They were constantly using his stuff. That's one thing about Marvel is 90% of the tech you see in Marvel.
No, Wakanda. Wakanda was way more advanced than anything.
Yeah.
Yes. What I mean is that was his plan, and by doing it, he didn't get there to do it. But
Vision was in Wakanda, and they were trying. I think they were trying to remove the stone from Vision in Wakanda.
Yeah.
Where do you think they got the? I really think that
they got it from Bruce Banner. Bruce Banner said, "I need somebody smarter than me because I can't do it."
Yes,
that's what Captain America said. I think I know somebody.
Yep.
But Shuri and Tony Stark never crossed paths.
No,
I understand, but that doesn't mean
Shuri is actually quite a bit smarter than Tony Stark.
Well, I didn't say she isn't, but I am not. What I'm saying is I've heard that basically he has a way of doing it, and he is.
He's always got some kind of backup plan where he can steal something. I guess just like he did in the courthouse. He took the guys on video and
yeah, he's just sitting there with his phone. He's like zip, zip, zip.
And plus, the glasses damn Peter Parker had on could do all that stuff. I'm sure he has something in place.
And remember, that's the other thing a lot of people don't understand is that Tom Hiddleston's Loki is now alive because he got away with the Tesseract.
But he's not the remorseful Loki. He's the Loki from the first Avengers.
And that's what I'm saying is that we still have Loki. We have a lot of things left in Marvel that weren't there. There's a lot of directions they can go. I mean, I'm willing to give this a chance, but I am under the impression the same thing I said about The Mandalorian originally. Episodic is watered down, and it makes it really hard to keep focused on a plan and a course of action. If they're taking these episodic adventures for what was it? Hawkeye. He has his. Doesn't he have one coming out?
He's gonna have a show, yeah.
Yeah.
There's Hawkeye. There's WandaVision.
The Falcon and Winter
Soldier, and some other thing called What If. I don't know what.
Yeah, What If. Well, that's a really touchy, weird one. That's like almost a random wheel of stuff, because if you read about it, it's basically the comic book that it comes from is more of the alternate dimension of that.
It's like they
could do a lot with that because they could recycle a story,
Yep.
put it in What If, and then you see, okay, this is how it would play out if this set of events happen.
One episode could be what happens if they don't reverse Infinity War.
Yeah, exactly.
What?
I think
Infinity War didn't end the way it did. What if they beat Thanos in Infinity War? I mean, they have a lot of ways they can go if they do it right, but it's episodic.
Personally, though, I think Disney Plus is obviously just a little over a month old now. So going forward, it wouldn't surprise me if their seasons ended up being something more like
13.
Yeah, like 13 episodes, but also like as far as the subject matter goes, something like 24, where the entire season, it goes from one episode to another another.
I think that's their best bet on Mandalorian and all of this is okay. So Winter Soldier and Falcon, what I want to see is just basically shoot it like a movie, cut it up, and then give us, if they're trying to go and show us who the next Captain America is going to be, I think is what it's about, is trying to get Falcon to take the moniker of Captain America or something like that.
I want to see that.
Well, I do too. But even Chris, even the CW, the CW Arrowverse, even they are more cinematic in their approach. Even though they have baddies of the week, there's still an overall big bad for the season. You know, and
that's what I'm saying is you got to have
the CW can do that. Disney can do that.
Yeah, but you see, there's the thing. They can do that, but they can shoot it like one long movie, but episodic stuff in it.
Yes.
And then what I want to see from Falcon and Winter Soldier is let's get to the next Captain America movie using this and show us how we're going to get there. Because obviously it's not in phase 4. Let's put it in phase 5 and explain how they're going to get there. Because if they do that, I'm good with the episodic idea.
I just hope when you move a character to Disney Plus, I hope it's not the kiss of death. You're in Disney Plus, you're not coming back to the actual MCU proper.
I think that will depend on how popular that show is.
Jeremy Renner wouldn't let that happen.
Jeremy Renner is like a third-rate Avenger.
I didn't say he wasn't, but he thinks he's somebody special.
Jeremy Renner just wants a paycheck. And, with some of the stuff he's been in the tabloids for, like in the past few months, he's lucky he still has that job with Disney.
But I
got a question.
Mm-hmm.
What direction do you think Bob Iger will go to after Rise of Skywalker is over? They're going to go to the Old Republic. They're going to do the Sith. Because I'm really tired of seeing the Jedi. I want to see the Sith.
Well, I'm not tired of seeing Jedi. I just like the old Jedi. I'm with you.
Yeah.
The best part of the prequels was the fighting, the look. We saw what the Republic was.
Well, the explanation I got on the reason why the lightsaber duels were so better because the Jedi were at their height. They were younger, so they fought faster.
But
you see it now, like Kylo Ren in that fight. I was watching on YouTube today, and this guy was breaking it down, and I mean, it was when you see it slow down and see the points that they make.
Oh, it's
terrible.
What I would love, you see, like I tell people, so Lucas wanted something faster, better, but he did choreograph it like a dance. But the dance was deadly because they were trying to kill each other. They were going for death blows. What they did with The Last Jedi was they made it a choreographed dance, but that's where they stopped. Because it's like it's just whimsical. It looks good, but there's nothing really going on.
Nope.
But this is what I think Disney could do. Do a series and call it Sith and give us every season, make it about a different
Sith.
Because there's a lot to explore.
Get that man a standing ovation. That was an excellent idea.
Thing is they need a Darth Vader movie. Let's not worry about a trilogy right now. Let's get a Darth Vader movie out that's worth its weight in gold. That we see Darth Vader.
Yeah, because if we could get like a full Vader movie where he was like
got his arms crossed standing by the Emperor to the time he meets Luke.
Exactly.
Exactly. And if he could be as OP as he was in the end of Rogue One,
Exactly.
I'm all in on that. Absolutely.
Let's focus on those, and then let's see an Old Republic movie.
Yeah.
And get the right people, because I know I'm hearing all this Keanu Reeves, and I love Keanu Reeves, but I don't want the Matrix. I don't want the Matrix.
Yeah.
I'm already getting the Matrix with the.
Can you imagine a Jedi with the ferocity of John Wick?
Oh God.
That's fine.
But I think Keanu Reeves would be better like Plagueis or something.
You see there. I don't think you'd do it.
Maybe not Plagueis, but I like an old Republic type of Sith.
Could you imagine doing a Sith Disney Plus series that put it this way? You put 3 seasons out in the time span that it comes that the first of the Old Republic comes out. First movie Old Republic comes out. You have 3 seasons with 3 Sith that you get to learn about, and then you come out with the second one. Then you get 3 more Sith, and you pick the 6th baddest Sith, not Darth Vader, because Darth Vader deserves his own movie. We know the most about him. There's the most material to use.
Darth Vader isn't technically a Sith, because Sith is actually technically a race.
Yeah, and that is a constant question, because the eyes do change.
Yeah,
it's a question everyone's answered, and we never got that. And Lucas has never given it to us.
Nope.
Lucas left certain stuff unknown for a reason. He didn't think it was necessary. He's always said, I don't like exposition. So one of my problems, Danny, with the prequel is he went into exposition way too much.
On episode 1, absolutely.
Why do we need to know about midichlorians? We didn't need to know that. All we needed to know was that Anakin was created by the Force.
I didn't mind the midichlorian part. I just,
But I think the problem with the new trilogy, because you can answer it with midichlorians. If midichlorians are so moved that they have to balance the Force,
Chris,
what makes it so they can't
make? I want to remind you, we have 47 minutes.
I'm
just reminding you, but
no,
I'm definitely going in the stream.
No, I was just gonna say, I that's just what I'm saying. So
yeah,
but
I agree with it.
I love the prequels, and I'll tell you what, when Attack of the Clones came out, I was on board fully with it.
Oh yeah,
the first one was kind of hard to watch because a lot of Jar Jar, a lot of this little kid who, let's be honest, little kids just can't act as well as older kids. And now when Hayden Christensen had his cringe moments in Clone War and Attack of the Clones and Revenge of the Sith, overall he did well with the part.
And you know what? Every time that these Hollywood checkmark pundits come out and say, "Oh, well, Star Wars is for kids," I want to sit them down and have them rewatch episode 1. Yeah, Jar Jar was in there for kids, but everything that was going on with the negotiations in the Senate and Palpatine and stuff like that, they're not going to follow that.
Nope.
That was all for adults.
Yeah. Well, Dan, you made it. I do have to go eat.
Okay.
So, thank you for having me on. I don't mean to jump off this quick, but if you guys want to keep talking, you guys got a great conversation here, because this, again, I think we mentioned this on the Mandalorian Roundtable. Sean and I have mentioned this. We are actually going, and this is a great sign, no matter what happens with the Rise of Skywalker. We're talking Star Wars like we used to talk Star Wars.
Yeah.
Yep. And that's good. We're not talking about the crap. We're not talking about the politics. That's what's needed.
I agree.
And the more of this we get, and once the Rise of Skywalker is done, we're going to get even more of it, because there's going to be a lot of remorse and a lot of people like, it was bad, it was this or that, and they're going to talk about it for a year or so.
Yeah.
Then as that year goes by, they're going to start saying, what's next for Star Wars? Because even though people say Star Wars is dead, they know better. And just like somebody who sells that, that one comic book that they really loved, because they've read it 50 times or they know it through and through, and they're like, I need to get rid of this, right? Or whatever you want to say, a toy, whatever. 2 years down the line, they go find it again. Why? Yeah. Because it meant that to them. Exactly. People say Star Wars is dead. It isn't. They're going to come back around and start talking about what's next. First, get rid of Kathleen Kennedy.
Yes. She's got.
Well, I can tell you, you had the idea, the best idea I heard all month. I hope somebody can pick this up and hear that Sith on Disney Plus would be awesome.
Yes, it would.
I would double my subscription today.
I would tell you,
and I'm really surprised that idea came from Chris. To be completely honest,
I come up with great ideas for Star Wars. It's just they're kind of out of bounds sometimes. I'll tell you what, though, you do Sith, and then on top of that, you could do Jedi. You could do Sith and Jedi. And
I think Sith would be way more interesting.
It would be, but you could do a contrasting one with Jedi, because there's just many Jedis that we would like to know.
I would like to see, if you're going to do anything Jedi wise on Disney Plus, I'd like to see something with Ahsoka.
What? Okay, do Ahsoka. Yes. Even though she's not a Jedi, but you could do that.
I'm more excited about Ahsoka than I am Obi-Wan. I would like to see somebody.
Mace Windu, Obi-Wan, Yoda.
I thought Ahsoka was a Jedi.
Alternate them, that would be awesome.
One. You see, you could do that. You pick the best of both of them, and you do this contrasting series. And then sometimes you could have crossovers.
Yep.
So was Ahsoka just a Padawan then?
She became a Padawan, and then she walked away because, she kept her lightsaber. She used the Force. She
was a Force user.
Better word. She became more like a gray Jedi. She
I just gonna say gray Jedi.
The Jedi, and she saw the problems with the Sith, and she walked away from it.
See, that would be a fantastic live action show if they would do it.
I'd be okay.
Her versus what's the bald-headed lady? Centrist. Her versus Centrist.
Oh yeah, the big bad from Clone Wars.
Yeah.
All right, guys, I'm going to cut off and go eat. But Danny, thank you very much for having me on. I appreciate it. All right, Sean, I'll talk to you at a later time.
Yeah.
All right. See you guys.
All right.
All right, Sean. We're here at 52 minutes. I know you and I got another one later on tonight.
Yeah.
I'm gonna try and grab something to eat myself. Unless you got anything else you want to talk about, or we want to save the material for tonight.
I think we have a lot to cover.
I'm pretty sure Robert gonna be ripping and ready to go.
Yeah, I know he is. I saw his video earlier today, so I'm ready to hear his thoughts. So
But before we go, tell the people again where they can find you.
Sure. I'm Sean Stackhouse. You can find me at Sean, if I can say my name, Sean Stackhouse Reacts on YouTube, and at Sean Stackhouse on Twitter. Danny, thank you for having me on. It's always a pleasure to talk with you. You have a lot of great views on comics and sci-fi movies and stuff. It's always a lot of fun.
I appreciate it. I feel the same way. Of course, I'm Danny Graham at Comet Chats. You can find me on Twitter at Comet Chats with an S, and on YouTube, Comet Chat. Like I said, if y'all are up at 11 o'clock hour, please go to Robert Storm's channel, where we'll be joining him on probably a very intense discussion on Rise of Skywalker. So please support us, man. Support the channel. I'm about 19 away from getting my 1,000.
Oh, man.
So anything y'all can do for subscribing, retweeting, or sending out the link, sharing the link, man, please do. All right, Sean, I'll catch you later on the night, brother.
All right, man. Have a good one.
All right, same to you.
All right, bye.